folks. Everything's going good here. We appreciate you coming in again. It's our weekly adventure into whatever takes place in the amongst a bunch of old guys, old comics talking about stuff. I personally had a pretty interesting story. I drive Uber. I had three great stories, three great conversations. I had one about Planet of the Apes, the original. I had one about the Lions draft, and I had one about the Tigers and their deal. And I also went and saw a couple other things. But it's the off night, and so we're gonna have your host and MC come out and talk to you, Mr. Mark Sweetman.
There we go. All right, we already heard that. All right, thank you very much. I'm Mark Sweetman. This is the off night. Let me bring Andy back out here. Here we go.
Hey, guys.
Hey, why don't we say the stories till after Susan, and then we'll get to those three stories. Then we'll have our other regular hosts out here with us, and we can tell those stories. And
Okay.
And I can mute them if they try to talk over you. Let you tell your stories.
Well, that's the talk over section there. So I'm
the
not
talk
really
over
worried
the
about it.
talk
Over section. There we go.
Anyway, but this is the start of the show, and this is where I always forget, so I'm going to remember this time. This is, it says right there, episode 260. Can you believe we're into our, let's see, 6th year now, because we started this, I think it was April 1st, the first week in April, whatever it was, in 2020. So it's been 5 years. April 1st was our 5-year anniversary, which makes this our 6th year of doing the off night. How about that?
That's pretty good. That's good.
Andy, from my sidekick and announcer, since 20. Did you come in
24, somewhere around there? I don't think I was.
No, I'm thinking 2021. As I think you were a little bit. I think you've been at it. I think it'll be 4 years this September that you've been my sidekick.
Wow. Have we gotten a sponsor yet? Are we going to get paid somehow?
No. Just like I should probably look up the stats and see what the percentage of YouTubers and podcasters actually get paid. So we're doing it because we love it and we love each other.
There you go. Yeah. Okay. All right. That sounds good. That's what they tell every artist. There you go.
And especially you and I, since I remember you when I first met you, you were the sidekick for Joe Allison. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. On this little TV show. And I think the guys, one of the guys that used to what was his name? I can't remember his name right now. But
what did he do? And I'll tell you.
The guy who helped him make the show. He also became a comic a little bit.
Eric Champanella?
Not Eric Champanella. It was the guys behind the scene. They were I'll have to think of his name, but I think he's actually doing an ad for Bon Jovi. What are that weight loss?
Wegovy?
Wegovy, yeah.
Wegovy? Oh wow. Was he? How shall we say? Was he a before picture back then?
Was that?
Was he a before picture back then?
No.
Is he a before picture in the ad now?
No, he's
he's
very, very, yeah.
Is he chiseled? He
is not chiseled at all. No. They're pushing not the weight loss, but they're pushing the
diabetic cure. Yeah.
It's like Jim Gaffigan kind of goes like, this whole thing about Wegovy and all this stuff is like, yeah. So everybody gets diabetes because they want to lose the weight, It's sort of like everything's been happening by accident. Saying, hey, we got this thing for great heart thing. It's called Viagra. It's help for the heart. It's like, but it makes your penis huge. It's like, what?
Not only did we open up your heart valves, but we opened.
Tell us more about what happens with the penis.
Yeah, give us the penis story.
Jim Gaffigan does a great bit about that. So
I'm gonna have to look it up. All right, well, let's not get into this too far because we got a lot tonight, and we want to get Susan out here. So let me introduce this. Oh, by the way, you know what? Hold on. Let's go to, here we go. There's our, remember I said I was going to work because I was putting up the address differently every week for whatever the show was. This is now the address. I got them all on one page. So if you want to go back and look at all 260 episodes, or 259, and then this one, that's the page you go to. And so if you want to join us, if you go there and you add a comment on YouTube, it shows up on the guys don't see it until I put it up on the screen, but I'll see it here on my screen. So if you want to add a comment, the other screen we have is if you would like to join the fun, you could try to come in. This is tonight's show, and that stream link down at the bottom there, 8D4B8YN9EJ, is the address to get on this show, and that change. Now that does change every week, so that'll be different every week. But it's probably a better idea if you contact me about a future show that you'd like to do with us, and I'll give that to you in advance, and you can be here ready to go with us and do our pre-show. We always do the lights and the sound is all good. And for the first time, I think, since we've been doing this, the light and the sound looks good for everybody. So I was very happy with our pre-production meeting. But now that I've done all that, wait a minute, one more thing. Okay, now it's time to bring out, this is my wife and our show's poet. Every week she takes the news headlines and makes and puts them into rhyme. And so here is Susan Sweetman. Hi, sweetie.
Hello, hi. I'd like to hear more about the Bon Jovi medicine. You might be interested.
I'd like to know.
Yeah. We're trying a whole new.
In fact, I could find a problem for which I might need Bon Jovi medicine.
Bon Jovi. Like you need Bondo for help for everything.
If you're not feeling in the mood, you might try Bon Jovi. So,
there we go.
Good looks and good looks and good
if you're interested.
What's that?
Yeah. You lose weight doing air guitar, that's right.
Yeah.
There you go. Anyway, it's time for Susan's poem. Are you ready to go?
Yes, I have it right here.
All right, here you go.
Cool.
Ripped from the headlines. USA now deporting citizen children like cattle. A 2-year-old American is now in Honduras, a battle. With no meaningful process, the child was sent on a plane. The lawyers and family are arguing with disdain. Plus, a 4-year-old and 7-year-old sibling were sent. The 4-year-old has cancer. ACLU lawyers are bent. They were sent with their mothers, the administration assures us. Despite the facts, Trump officials deny kids deported to Honduras. The Ukraine war with Russia is still going on. It appears that now Trump is singing a new song. Donald says he's not happy with Russian strikes on Kiev. Vladimir, stop! Trump posted on a social media thread. Do you think Putin is shaking from this lame finger wagging? Perhaps Donald Trump is a weak punching bag. I said that wrong. Let me read that last.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Do you think Putin is shaking from this lame finger wag? Perhaps Donald Trump is a weak punching bag. There you go.
All right, there we go. And that's our poem for the week.
Very
thank
nice.
you very much. Little bit. I noticed lately you've been very anti-Trump. Or maybe that's always been that way.
There's just every time you open up, the news of the week, it's just Trump this, Trump that, the administration this, the White House that. It's really becoming a chore to find anything that's about anything other than Trump, frankly.
I think that's been that way for every president, though. Although in his defense, Trump does say that he doesn't even like his own kids. So,
he's got that in common with Musk.
Yeah, don't expect him to treat the immigrant kids any better. What are we gonna do when we have to pick our crops? Andy, are you gonna go out there and pick crops for America?
We have to grow our own oranges now and apples and.
Yeah, well, guess what? Oranges in Michigan are gonna suck.
Oh my God. Well, they just do them inside. That's basically it. Yeah.
We do have good cherries. We do have good grapes because we do have a wine industry here.
We
And
have good apples in
and our
Michigan.
apples
I
are
don't know
our
what you're
apples are
talking
on.
about, Mark. And we've got we still have cider mills near us. So
I
right
said,
here we'll be able to get good apples.
pretty sure I said good apples. Anyway, hey, let's get the other guys out here.
Yeah.
I want Andy to tell his stories here. Here he is from New York City, still from a hospital bed, but that's okay. He's, it's his mind is sharp. His tongue is no, his mind is lucid. His tongue is sharp. Here he is from New York. Sam
Does
Greenfield.
he have a name?
Hi,
Sam Greenfield. Sam Greenfield.
Jesus.
I was trying to put you on the air first before I said your name. And from the fine town of Ypsilanti, Michigan, here he is. Please welcome Jason Grant. Oh, what's this? Oh, there he is.
Hey guys, thanks for the poem, Susan.
You're welcome.
Now
Nice poem, Susan.
Thanks.
Now, Jason, is your background from the Tom Cruise
Documentary.
Oh,
Eyes
is it?
Wide
The Tom,
Shut.
Okay. Eyes Wide Shut. Okay. Either that or the Korean kill game. What's the name of that?
Oh God, I forgot that the Eyes Wide Shut has actually been surpassed by what was it? Oh, you're right. I can't even remember. But yeah, no, it is not the Korean. I'm going for a more Eurocentric, as is my approach to total world domination.
Yeah, that was a Stanley Kubrick film I just saw recently. So.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, good to see everybody. Andy has some stories, so we're going to give the stage to Andy.
Well, actually, there weren't stories. It was just I had a great conversation about Planet of the Apes in the back seat of the car. It was great. We talked about.
Wait a minute. Was the discussion of Planet of the Apes in the back seat of the car, or was the discussion about Planet of the Apes in the back seat of the car?
Well, he was in the back seat. I was in the front seat, and we were discussing Planet of the Apes.
Ah, there you go.
Okay, I think Caesar would do a better job than the guy we have now in the Oval Office.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like that, but it's like we were talking about that the Ape City was designed or taken from designs from because he had just visited Spain and gone to Barcelona. Okay. I can't remember the guy's name. It was like Gaudi. I think it's Gaudi. But he created this. This
was the director or the production?
Oh, we lost Sam.
No,
he'll be back. Keep going. We'll
created an apartment complex that they used for Ape City. Artist from 1930. I think it's Gaudi. I'm not sure. But we talked about that. He was going to Spain. We talked about the fact that I went to Portugal. So had different stories about what was taking place. So that was cool. And then I had to talk with a guy about the Lions draft. So what did you think about the Lions draft?
I trust Brad Holmes.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. I mean, I didn't know any of the people he drafted the last 4 years. Oh, except for Aiden Hutchinson. But that's only because he went to Michigan. And they all turned out great. You know what I mean? So obviously, he's got a great scouting staff. Well,
I was very excited that they took a defensive tackle in the opening session. He's a really good tackle, and they needed him for a rush. So,
now all right, well, it's baseball season now, and the Tigers are on a winning streak.
Oh yeah. Did they win against Baltimore last night?
They swept them. All three games.
Swept them. Wow.
They swept them the whole weekend. Yeah, they have the best record.
I think they have 4 in a row.
Well, supposedly that this is like some between they kept mentioning 1911. Like, is this the best start they've had since 1911? Is that what's going on?
The best? No. The best home start. Because remember back in '84 they went 35-5.
Got it.
But they played like way more away games that April than they did here. So their home record wasn't as good as it is for this April. There's no more games in April, so now they got the record because all the rest of the game they go on the road now, and it'll be May before they come back. So this is their best April.
Oh, cool.
Did you hear about the Pistons with that lack thereof of a referee call at the end of the game where they should have had free throws?
Oh no, I don't.
I'd feel worse about that if I thought the Pistons had a chance to win it this year. I still think they're one player away.
Yeah, you could be right.
They've got
Still, the refs suck.
you got that going for you. They got Cade Cunningham, and the rest of those guys are 3, 4, 5. They need a number 2. They need a number 2. Isaiah Thomas had Joe Dumars. Chauncey Billups had Rick Hamilton. They need, you know what I mean? They need that second guy that can, when the top guy is out of the game or down or not having a good game, you need that second guy that's going to give you your 25 points, your 10 rebounds, and your 10 assists.
The point is, it's a team sport.
Well,
one guy can't carry it all.
Yeah, but Isaiah knew how to distribute the ball. If he wasn't
Yeah,
having a great
yeah.
game, he knew how to get it to the guys who were.
That's
Yep.
true.
And if he had to make a hard decision, if management had to make a hard decision, Benny Johnson comes to mind. Perhaps even Rick Mahorn. You know, again, I believe he was in the discussion when that happened.
Bill Lambier was the first guy that took the 3-pointers as a big man. You didn't ever have centers going out there and shooting threes before Bill Lambier. Now they all do it, you know.
Yeah, Bill had the 2-inch vertical, but he did have a good 3-point shot.
Yeah,
no, I mean,
Bill,
but you're right, Susan. It is a team sport. You're absolutely correct in that. You are
That's right.
spot on.
Bill
Adios.
Lambier.
See you,
taking
Susan.
Off? Bill Lambier was not only the only player in the NBA whose dad made more money than he did. He was the only player in the NBA whose dad could jump higher than he could. So.
Yep. Well, basically anyone can, but then again, you go up against Bill Lambier or Dennis Rodman before he went insane. Either one was a good way to get an afternoon in the hospital. By the way, that series you were thinking about, Squid Games.
Yeah.
Squid Game.
That's the Korean sci-fi dystopian snuff series.
That's your Eyes Wide Shut snuff film right there.
Well, yeah, Squid Games is actually my grinder handle, especially when I'm near a naval institution. It means something different to me, but we won't go into that now on a family podcast. Speaking of family, here comes Sam.
Cool.
Susan had to go. She said to say goodbye to you.
Sam is here because wait. I'm here because I was waving like a maniac saying, no one can hear me. No one can see me. I kept seeing over and over again, only the host can see you backstage. I got frustrated, so I left.
Oh.
Okay. So if I'm going to be fucking backstage, then don't pay attention to me. I'm talking to you from a hospital bed.
Oh, dear.
Okay. It's enough.
Got it.
Okay.
Got it.
Then the modern cubby holes of technology sometimes.
It's not funny to me.
I don't think it is, Sam. I'm not trying to be funny.
Yeah, I hope you don't think we put you backstage on purpose.
No.
And I think Fedora Sanders is gay.
Who is?
Okay, Sam. I as the show's token faggot, I have to add, by the way, that's my grinder name.
I like a Coke and faggot and some onions.
I would like to ask you what are the earmarks, the tells, as you would, that have revealed this shocking prophecy that you just uttered.
Well, here's what I actually think happened. Okay, with this guy Shedeur Sanders, it's kind of mysterious because the guy was so great as a quarterback. No one, I mean, the Cleveland Browns, who suck at picking quarterbacks, told the owners of the team, you know this, right? Take him off of your draft choices.
Well, that probably did happen.
Well, it did. And I'm going to tell you why I think it happened.
But go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt.
Deion Sanders.
Yeah, that's exactly why. You know who his,
they don't want any part of that family.
Exactly. That's right.
Involved in the, and his brother. Is that his brother?
Yes, he got picked up by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers today.
Really?
Then he'll do. And here's another thing. I don't know if you know about this, but Deion Sanders went into this tirade, trashing one of the assistant coaches at Colorado. Say he did a better job than him. He's not a good guy. He's a horrible guy.
Well, and I think you're right, and you know this his kid is not represented by an agent. He's represented by Deion Sanders,
Well,
and
that's a
that's
and
got
kiss of death right there.
that is
well,
a
right,
kiss of death.
exactly, because I mean, the NFL. By the way, as I'm sure Sam, you've already heard, they're going to start they're going to start work on a $3.6 billion redevelopment of the RFK Stadium site for
So happy. So happy.
for the Washington football team, whatever their moniker presently is.
They'll stay the Commanders.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, whatever, fine. I'm not arguing about it. I'm just saying that when you're putting
once you get to
by the way,
once you get to the conference championship game, you're keeping your name. That's all
they're putting up 3.1
That's
billion.
right.
They're putting 3.1 billion of their own investment into this. The city's kicking in another 500-600 million, which is fair. I mean, they're going to get a return out of it too. My point being, this is a business. You know it, I know it, and they just don't have room for people who are not going to contribute. If you can't be an
They are
asset,
getting,
you are out of the door.
This new ownership has gotten it right every step of the way.
Yeah.
Every step of the way.
Mhm.
Everything they've done.
Well,
Except
they own the Philadelphia 76ers too, right?
yeah, and the New Jersey Devils.
And okay.
The only thing he's got against him is not enough Jews.
I'm still curious as to how your gaydar is far more attentive than mine. I'm not saying it isn't. I want some tips, as it were, perhaps even the whole head.
Oh, I'm kidding. No, I was kidding about that, but he his problem is, and this is just my opinion. If you have not been drafted yet, okay, you've not been drafted.
Yeah.
Stop acting like you're a first round draft choice.
Well, he had a room built in his house just for the draft that had legend written all over it. I'm not making it up. That that has been reported that he had a room built just for the draft, and legendary was used as wallpaper behind him.
I tell you what. Here's something I know about professional sports in the 21st century. His games, they'll sell out just so people can go boo him.
Maybe, but if you
think so?
If he starts completing
I think people will make a point to go to see the Browns just to boo him.
And if he can actually get on that field and play and put points on the board, all is, like Sam is saying, by the end of the week it'll be forgotten. If he can do that,
I think that he will. First of all, he's one of 5 quarterbacks on that team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
But secondly,
they drafted one ahead of him, and they signed one just before the draft. So
I don't think fans are going to care that much. Normally, I don't disagree with Mark, but I don't think the fans care that much about him. I don't think they give a shit.
Until he kneels for the national anthem. Then they'll.
Now you're talking.
Yeah, I don't care about it. What I care about is whether he can get a shovel pass off, whether the guy can burn you in the flats, can he ticky-tack you down the field, can he throw the long ball,
can he play hacky sack?
Can he play a hacky sack? Does he like to shower with other men? Does he need someone to wash his back? Because there's some places maybe you have a hard time getting to. Have you ever seen Ben-Hur? Have you ever heard gladiator movies?
Does the term Rough Rider turn you on?
Because it does me quite a bit, actually. But
if you smoke a joint, are you high in the saddle?
They said you was hung, and they were right. Oh my God! What a wonder! Would that have been better with Richard with Richard Pryor in it or not? What do you guys think?
Say it again.
Would Blazing Saddles have been better if Richard Pryor had been given the leading role?
It would have been different. It wouldn't have been better.
I agree.
Cleavon Little was a great actor. He did a good job, no doubt about it.
Oh, Little was great. No, it would have been. It would have made the character. This is just my opinion. It would have made the character of Bart more vulnerable.
I don't think that Richard Pryor could have pulled off the scene where he puts the gun to his head and pretends to kidnap himself.
I think you're underestimating him.
Cleavon Little did that beautifully.
I think you're underestimating Pryor.
Maybe. I mean, it wasn't.
No one acted more false tough than Richard Pryor.
How many roles did he have before Blazing? See, he was in
Blue Collar.
Blue Collar. Lady Sing the Blues.
JoJo Dancer.
Yep.
Car Wash.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he'd been Car Wash, which also give me my favorite Antonio Fargas line, where he plays a flamboyant gay man who informs the crew that I'm more man than you'll ever be and more woman than you've ever had. Which,
And accompanied by the Pointer Sisters.
yes, and with a line like that, with backup like that, there is no getting that's it. You've reached the top. Quit.
Well, you know, it was great in that movie.
God,
Bill Duke,
I can't. I remember Franklin and Jai was in that as well,
the,
and
the guy, the black radical.
gosh, I've got to see it again, man. I have not seen that movie.
Ivan Dixon caught him
Ivan
breaking into
Dix.
the car wash.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just like I have to admit this, so to my shame, I have not actually seen the entire Mom's Mabley movie, which she made weeks before her death in the midst of a heart attack. She has a heart attack. She goes to the hospital for a day and a half, gets out, gets a pack of smokes, goes back to the set, finishes the movie.
I heard she's gay.
Mom's Mabley?
Was,
Yeah.
very.
Yeah.
And she played that character from the time she was a young woman all the way to the end. I mean,
she grew into the character, basically.
Yep, certainly worked for her. Yeah, again, you're right. If Pryor's in the movie, I concede it's a different movie. It's a completely different movie. I think it was BS that he didn't get it. I understand, the big money that makes a movie go or not go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
they couldn't afford the insurance.
Yeah, that's what it was.
What hadn't he just set himself on fire?
No, that came later.
Okay,
that came later. This was when he was just Blazing Saddles is what 73, 74,
72. Well, wait.
Mark, you're near Alexa.
Young Frankenstein was 74.
74, right?
I'm near what?
You're near Alexa.
Yeah, what do you need to know?
What year did Blazing Saddles come out?
That would have been 73, I think.
And the thing about Young Frankenstein, as we all know, Gene Wilder had most of the script while he was working with Brooks on
Blazing
the producers.
Blazing Saddles came out in 74.
So it was probably shot in 73, pretty much. Right?
You'll never get him. He's too much man for you.
Have you seen that interview? It's been done in the last couple of years with Mel Brooks, where he was talking about to get it released. The Warner Brothers executive are saying, you got to do this. You can't have this in it. You can't do shots like this. You got to remove this. You got to change this. And he's going, yep. Okay, we'll do that. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We'll do that. Okay, we'll do that. Yep. Didn't change a thing. He just.
Hats off. Mel Brooks, you know what he did during World War II? He was officially an electrician. And what that meant was he was the guy who sent up there and disarmed landmines. After you've disarmed landmines for about a year in Europe, I don't know. I think you got a balls to steel, man. I think pretty much nothing's going to bother you after that.
Although it could have been Mel Brooks saying this, you want me to do what?
Well, he was behind Get Smart, if memory serves. Am I wrong about that?
Yes.
Was he
Buck Henry and Mel Brooks.
Were they writers or were they producers on that show as well? I remember Buck Henry was a writer.
I don't know how much involvement they had once they got it on the air, but I mean they got a check every week. So
well, and Buck Henry was of course fantastic as the hotel clerk in The Graduate, where he plays his deadpan role to absolute perfection. Charles Grodin probably being the only one who could really surpass him in terms of deadpan delivery.
Do you remember the movie Boys Town with Spencer Tracy?
Yeah.
I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a kid in that movie who has a game leg. Right. He has to limp up to and they're nominating him for mayor of Boys Town.
All right.
And he goes, I don't deserve this. And they love him. And you know who it was?
I have no idea.
Gelbart.
Larry Gelbart?
Larry Gelbart from the MASH guy?
Yep.
Oh,
wow.
Yep.
That was a 1930. How old was he? That was a 1938.
1934 or 33.
Yeah.
Robert Blake was making movies back then, wasn't he? I know he did some time with Robert Blake, wasn't he?
Bobby Gubitosi.
Yeah, he was in
Robert. He was one of the R gang. He was one of the whatever they call those guys. R gang.
Little Rascals.
Little Rascals. Thank you. Yeah,
I found him to be the most obnoxious, self-serving, jackass I've ever seen on the screen.
Mhm.
Blake. He
Well, I
comes
gotta
on the
tell you.
Carson show. He's stoned like a whore in the Bible.
Yeah.
And he's saying, and he's going, yeah, man, I'm doing this shit and this shit. I just shut the fuck up. Christ. The only thing he ever did worthwhile was play the little kid in Treasure of Sierra Madre.
That's what I was. That was the other movie I
wow.
was trying to remember. Yeah, he did that
God,
one.
I couldn't stand that bastard. I
Well,
think his wife committed suicide.
Oh, hello.
Was
Whoa.
did
Sammy's
she go?
back.
She go swimming in the Jerry Lee Lewis pool with William Shatner's wife. But you
Well,
know.
that's the Jerry Lee Lewis. Honey, I've been swimming near the pool again.
Oh dear, yeah.
What is she, 12?
She was 13. Come on, Sam. They have rules down there. 13.
They have rules.
They don't.
All right, let's
enforce
get a
them.
look at those little nubbins.
I'm glad you said that, not me. That was, of course, comedian Sam Greenfield, not.
Yeah.
He's
Andy, did
available
we
at
ever get to,
575 Grand Street.
Andy, did we ever get to your Detroit Tigers? You said you had a Detroit Tigers.
No, we just basically talked about the Tigers. It was just a back conversation. Don't worry about it. Keep going.
Okay. All right.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Well.
Well, I wanted to ask everybody here,
Yes.
because you're all Detroiters. Do you have a favorite Sparky Anderson story?
Oh.
The time I met him at Domino's World Headquarters. He didn't have to stay and be nice or talk to anybody because he's a busy man. He's Sparky Anderson.
But he was a nice guy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's like, hey, it's Coach Sparky, it's Coach Anderson. And he, we were there on a manager's meeting, myself and a bunch of other folks and whatnot. Sat there, talked to everybody, shook every hand, signed everything you put in front of him. He doesn't have to do that crap.
The one thing I loved about him was, and you, Mark, you probably know this. If I go to the mound, this is him talking. If I go to the mound to take you out of the game, I'm going to hold my hand out.
Put the ball in my hand and walk off.
Like it's an egg. Like it's an egg.
Yes. Yeah.
Place it gently in my hand. Stand me up, and you won't pitch again for 2 weeks.
Well, the guy was a manager. What can you do?
All the teams. He coached World Series champions and both teams
in 2 leagues.
In 2 leagues, yep.
I mean, my favorite Detroit manager growing up is still, to a large degree, Billy Martin, just because he was just always angry about something. But he got results out of it. I mean, Steinbrenner fired him how many times? But yet
4 or 5.
Kept hiring him back until he finally got a hitman to cut his brake lines. Allegedly. Allegedly.
Oh,
Only
manager. My favorite line is only manager to die sliding into home.
You see, Grace Kelly had paged him, and he was on. Well, never mind. Grace Kelly jokes.
Well, you know the story about him and Glenn Burke, right?
No, tell me.
Glenn Burke was a guy who played for, I think, for one of the teams in California. Glenn Burke invented the high five.
Okay.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
And he went to the minors, and when he came back, they asked Billy Martin, Glenn Burke is available. He says, I don't hire faggots. And Glenn Burke was gay. He was gay.
Yeah.
You think the high five would have been invented by somebody who was straight? Please.
Not if you had done it a little lower.
And get you boys drunk and you all do it. But never mind that. Even the high five. Whatever.
Well, the story about Billy Martin was that he walked around the clubhouse totally naked. And they said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Well, I'm demonstrating my penis." And they said, "Well, why are you doing it right now?" He goes, "Well, for the viewing."
It's not like he had to take everything off and take a shower. Managers really don't do a lot of exerting. Of course, Billy Martin did.
Well,
he and Earl Weaver were the exertion managers. So.
Well,
Earl Weaver would get himself kicked out of games so he could go downstairs and smoke.
Exactly. He had a team he could do that with, though. Oh my God, he had such great teams.
Just for the pitching staff.
I know. I know that pitching staff he had. That one year they had 20 wins.
McNally, Jim
Dobson,
Palmer.
Jim Palmer, McNally, Dobson, and Elmore.
James
Leonard.
Leonard.
No, not Elmore. That's
Yeah,
he's
well, great horror stories.
Hold on, I just have to do a search on those other three names, and we'll have the fourth one here.
It's like trying to remember who the fifth pitcher was for the Tigers in '84. We can all remember Wilcox and Rosema, and of course Jack Morris. You know that.
And Danny McLean.
Well, no,
we had Juan Berenguer, wasn't it?
Well, that's the one that no one can remember. You know, it's like
I get you.
Berenguer. Who? I mean, you had Hernandez and Lopez for the relievers, who in the '84 season were just unstoppable.
Right.
And then Tom Monahan, being the Catholic martyr that he is, has to go and talk shit about Kurt and his long hair and how he was a disgrace. And it's like, you know, the man just won you a World Series. And okay, he's a bit eccentric, whatever, you know.
You know what he said that amazed me?
Got it, Sammy. It was Mike Cuellar.
Ah,
God, I've
a
heard
great
that name.
pitcher.
Cuellar and McNally were the lefties. Palmer and Dobson were the righties.
Monahan said something that just shocked me. It wouldn't shock you guys, but you know, because you're there.
Yeah.
He gets married to this woman who's not a devout Catholic.
Yes.
And he says, had he known she wasn't Catholic, he wouldn't have married her.
Yeah, he and Mrs. Monahan lived apart for decades.
They did?
Oh, yes, they did. Yes, they. I used to have his house was in my delivery neighborhood. I worked for Domino's in Ann Arbor for 12 years, and I encountered Mr. Monahan sadly on many occasions. We were owned by a franchise. You know, in fact, if you ever look at the Domino's logo, it's two little dots and one dot. The one dot is the store I used to manage.
Not trying to be funny here.
Yeah.
Not trying to be funny here, but was he a dick?
Oh my God, he's the most awful human being you can ever imagine. And one of his mentors was a guy named Eugene Powers, who's one of the richest men he ever encountered. He invented microfilm when microfilm meant something. It was more than just a prop in spy movies. You know, I mean, and he eventually sold out to Xerox, if I'm not mistaken. And Eugene Powers was also the man that my grandmother was a nanny for him and his kids and whatnot. He was one of the nicest people you ever wanted to meet in your whole life. He really was. But rich,
this is turning into
very
Brush with
rich.
Greatness. Andy, get your who you're related to stories going here. Everybody Sam's already got his.
Oh,
Brush with Greatness
Sam's
story.
got enough to crush all of us into oblivion. Uh-oh. I heard something in the background.
Was it something I said?
No,
I
that
think it
bell,
was.
that bell, that the store shop bell that you heard.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the bell in my house. We installed that about 10 years ago as my girls were becoming teenagers, and they were trying to sneak out of the house. They couldn't stop the bell.
I have to tell you, Mark, never
They
once did I try
turned off all the electricity, so all the cameras went down. But they could not stop the shop door bell.
Jesus Christ.
Never once did I ever sneak into a teenage girl's house, Mark. I can say that with a certain amount of pride, so to speak. But others not so much. But no, yeah, and you know, I mean, we're just you know, Sam, you're right. Monahan was a graceless clown. He just was not a nice man. And
Is he still alive?
Sadly, yes. He lives down, but he's in Florida.
So is he no longer a graceless clown?
Monahan is alive?
Yeah, like I say, he lives on his own private compound in Florida. He's got a religious compound where he's worshipped. I'm going to start going into an apocalypse now, where they worship him like a cult leader. You know, I mean, I'm sure he's got the ghost of Dennis Hopper following him around, taking pictures. You know, with you know, severed heads in the background and whatnot. And yeah, he's still alive. He's got a really fringy Catholic cult. I mean, there are such things. Although my mother used to claim.
What makes people do that?
A fringy Catholic cult.
Yeah, it sounds like a
fringy Catholic cult.
We are the Catholics, mighty Catholics. Everywhere we go, people want to know who we are. Who do we worship?
You gentlemen are obviously of a certain generation.
Yeah.
Which
Hey,
reminds me.
Frankie.
Speaking
Frankie,
of
how you doing?
Catholics,
I heard you died.
speaking of Catholics, anybody catch the funeral at all?
No.
Oh,
They.
I
I
am
was
telling you that if you want to be impressed, whether you're Catholic or not, the Vatican choir. Oh my God! It is unbelievable. I don't know if they pay them or if it's such an honor to be in it that they just kick anybody that misses a note. You know what I mean? They just
Yeah.
you're done.
they don't pay them.
No.
I don't think they do pay them. I think they're all nuns and priests that volunteer. And it was this choir is unbelievable. They're not using any sound system. The way the buildings surround you where they had the
Right.
funeral, it's like it encloses all that, and it just sounded so awesome.
Well, you know, the best part of the whole thing is the after funeral meal.
I hope. God, that's the type of meal you just hope is vegetarian. You know,
do they go
Let
over
me
like
just say this.
let's just hope it's
Fish was
fish.
off the menu.
Say, do they go to like Giorgio's across the street, get a nice pasta course, and
You gotta be good.
Excuse me, I asked for prosciutto.
And I think I know what prosciutto is. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Well, here's an interesting thing. They have 165 cardinals there right now for the conclave that starts.
Yeah.
One of which is Gary Templeton.
Who's he?
The ball player?
Yes, he was. Yeah.
Oh, the Cardinals. I get it. Gary
Cardinal.
I'm sorry.
All right. Sorry.
Yeah, he's.
I'm going to go into hiding now.
No,
he's the one you saw doing somersaults there on the.
What was it? If I'm in Stan, I ain't playing.
So anyway, they've got 165 of these guys. They're staying in either the Vatican or the guest house next door. You got to know there's got to be some cots, and it's going to be. And some of these guys, there's not 165 beds, so they're going to be staying because you only have a conclave once every 30, 40 years. So I got to figure a lot of these cardinals have never been on a cot since they were like teenagers.
Well, Mark, they're not afraid to double up, if you will. So
in laughter.
Double up in laughter.
Or perhaps maybe with a young novice tucking them in.
Good evening. Good evening, and welcome to our new soap opera, The Probing Fingers of Brother Raymond.
There's
so how many did you move away? Yeah, go ahead.
There's some question of whether they'll elect a new pope that will continue his pastoral type of papacy, where I
don't know what that means.
Pastoral means he was more about the people in the pews than he was about the hierarchy and the riches and
less political.
Less, well, you could call it political because a lot of people thought he was a socialist. You know, that he was too kind to the poor. You know, if that's such a thing, Jesus would have never said that, but a lot of Catholics do. But since he appointed as Pope, he appointed more than a majority of the current conclave. They're not sure they'll go back in a more traditional way.
I'll tell you what made me laugh, and it should make everybody here laugh. There was talk that the new favorite to be the new pope would be somebody from Africa.
Yeah,
and I could just see the European popes going, yeah, we'll be right on that. Yeah, we're all over that. Where's he from? Nigeria? Oh yeah, we're on it. I'm
sure the American archbishops were all saying, "Please don't do this to us. Please don't do this to us. Please don't do this."
I think you're right.
One of the black archbishops is from the United States. I can't think of his name right now, but they're not all from Africa. There's one.
Well, it's not as if there aren't issues and intrigues. I mean, John Paul I. Hey, we need to look into this bank thing. This doesn't look good. Oh, the Pope's dead. What do you know?
The Pope's dead. Yeah.
30 days.
And not only that, but you know that if there's any continent that has a history of virulent, horrible homophobia, it's Africa.
Oh, it's our dear friends there. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's not good. It
You know why?
No, it's beyond
only,
not good. It's
the
yeah,
it's
reason
yeah.
is
homicidal.
Oh
It's
yeah.
the reason is
homicidal.
they only the reason is they only had that little waistband type of covering, so they had to concern themselves with
And
that.
you know, I wear one of those around the house with great regularity. And when I answer the door, I'm often greeted with, shall we say, a look that is unexpected. You know, I mean, just like when I answer the door with my robe open, and
Do
just
they? Yeah, that's when they go. Can we interest?
can I help
Ah,
you?
Sir, can we interest you in some Wagovia?
It's more like, dear God, Jesus, no, keep it away. What did I do? I'm blind. I can't unsee that. Run for your life, or
A
some
lot of
combination of those
a lot of
terms.
for the love of God,
Yeah,
please.
exactly. Yeah, you've been there. You've been in my neighborhood. I like that. Good. Yeah, that's
a real
yeah.
man would stop holding himself.
Yeah.
It's like when I put on short shorts and a crop top and then walk my hamster down the street on a leash. But you know,
How do you
it
get him on a leash?
it takes a little bit of doing. You know the difference between a hamster and a gerbil, right? I mean, there's more dark meat on the gerbil.
Richard Gere.
Yeah. You know, he is still mad about that whole. You know, he still issues disclaimer, even though his career has been over for decades now.
No, he's
He
still working.
where at the
Yeah.
TikTok
Oh no,
lounge?
no, he makes movies.
Yeah,
You know,
he
I'm
does.
going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you something that Barbara told me, and she was right about this. She said there are people. There are so many goddamn TV shows. There's so
Yeah.
many that stuff comes up that we just don't see.
Oh,
You
absolutely.
know, there's Netflix, there's Hulu, there's Tubi. There's so many. We don't
Oh,
see them all.
yeah, shit. I mean, Hallmark Channel makes 58 Christmas movies a year.
Yeah.
And
58.
amazingly, not a black face in them.
Oh,
And
no,
thank God
that's
for
not,
it too.
that's not
Yeah,
correct
something has to
because
stay the same.
Amen.
that is not correct because our friend Gary Hardwick. You guys remember? Andy, do you remember Gary Hardwick?
Yeah. I remember Gary.
Yeah, he had one made. I'll find the name of it and I'll send you guys a link to it. But he made a Christmas movie about a black couple.
Mm-hmm.
Same
Oh,
kind.
that was
Same
the one called, what was that? It was 1 in a Million, I think it was called.
I don't remember. It was very formulaic.
Oh yeah.
It was
From Hallmark?
It is. Yeah. Hallmark is always formulaic. That's their basic. You know.
That's
yeah,
true. I mean,
basically, she came home from a
yes.
successful career.
Yeah.
This was a guy that she knew, but really didn't pay attention to. But now, he helps her when she gets back into town from, avoiding some crappy guy that she doesn't like or something. I mean, and I don't even know if that's what that movie's about, but you can pretty much write them. I mean, that's pretty much what I would like to
Those
go in.
movies were made for AI.
So you're
Exactly.
suggesting that Hallmark is not the place to pitch my Faces of Death reboot. I should maybe focus my efforts other
No.
place.
No, actually, it might be because of his Hallmark cards. If you let me write the cards for it,
If it was Faces of Death at Christmas, then I think
Oh, okay. You're right, Mark. That's brilliant. Yes, exactly.
Or how about Jingle Bells of Death?
Jingle Bells of Death. The Christmas. Yeah. Oh dear.
I told you this one, haven't I?
Sure.
Guy,
I don't know.
Sure. Go ahead.
guy is an agent is talking to a very powerful Hollywood executive.
All right.
And the executive says to the agent, "Do you know an actress named Doris Cummings?" And the agent says, "Do I know her? Who doesn't know that whore? She can't act for shit. And she's a horrible actress and nobody likes her." And the producer says, "That's my daughter." And the agent says, "Let me finish."
Let me finish.
Yeah, of late, my agent trying to pitch Mr. Ed the role in The Godfather has
All right,
gotten.
Sam. Let's let Sam finish his joke.
Oh yeah, go ahead. No, that's the joke.
That was the joke.
The agent
okay.
says he's calling her a horrible actress, a throat goat, a blight upon society.
Did you just say throat goat?
Yes,
I
did.
Throat goat.
I said throat goat.
That is genius.
Thank you. Well, again, that's internet speak.
Well, you know the one about the guy who witnesses a gang hit,
No.
and the mobster looks at him and mouths the words, "You're dead." So the guy goes to the cops. He goes, I just witnessed a gang hit and the guy threatened my life. And the cop said, well, we can't do anything about that. He says, well, what do you mean? Well, he didn't hit you. He didn't shoot you. What are we to do? So the next day, the witness goes out and joins the William Morris Agency, and he's never heard from again.
Ah!
Hey, dum-dum.
Dum-dum-dum. There you
Yeah,
go.
be here all week, ladies and gentlemen. All right.
You know,
Wrong side.
going back to true crime, when they arrested me for selling 2.5 grams of cocaine and giving me 2.5 years in prison for it.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, first offense even. The guy that they wanted me to roll over on, whom I would not. I mean, because he was a horrible human, but I wasn't.
You mean figuratively?
Well, either way, I mean, he was a terrible lay. But never mind that.
Hello.
Yeah, well, his wife thought so too. He was later busted.
I'm sorry.
He was probably too indecisive.
He was later busted without any. I was already in jail. I was in prison. I was in Jackson prison when someone told me about this. He was busted with 100 individually wrapped grams of cocaine. This is 1985 when this happens. He does nary a day in jail. Doesn't bust on any, or well, I mean, he narcs on somebody. Doesn't do a day in jail and becomes a Jehovah Witness missionary and leaves the country.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
And it's like, tell me about the justice system. I'm doing 2.5 years for 2.5 grams, which in the 70s or in the 80s, 2.5 grams of cocaine is enough to get what, 2-3 people mildly high for a few minutes. I mean, but yeah, it was crime of the century territory.
Do you remember the Lovin' Spoonful?
I do.
Sure.
Do you believe in magic?
Steve Boone of the Lovin' Spoonful was narked on by Zalyanovsky.
Zal, yes.
And Steve Boone did time.
Yep.
Because of Zalyanovsky.
I think about that whenever I hear Creek Street by Mamas and the Papas.
Yep.
Zal's got a line in that.
Creek Alley.
Creek Alley, yes. It's a great tune. Incredibly well written.
John and Mitchie were getting kind of itchy.
Yeah. To leave the folk music behind.
One of John Phillips, two of John Phillips' daughters, say that shit never happened to Mackenzie Phillips.
Well, which I tend to believe. I don't believe shit. I think Mackenzie Phillips is just outright nuts. I think the poor girl had way too much coke.
Because because Phillips never got pissed, never vehemently denied it. He said, all I can say is it didn't happen.
Yeah.
But then he ruined it by saying, would you fuck that?
No! Hello.
I don't know if Michelle said anything about it. I don't know. I mean, she's the last one who's alive, the last one standing, and I still think of her as that
Mackenzie Phillips is?
No, Michelle
Phillips is the
that's right.
Last Mama and Papa standing. Yeah.
Still looks good.
Yeah, I mean, but I still think of her as she was what, like 19 when she was on that photo album of the cover. I mean,
yeah.
There's Mama Cass doing her. Again, an amazing talent wrapped in a Jabba the Hutt body.
I had no idea how young she was when she died.
She was only in her 27, 28?
32. Mama Cass was 32.
Yeah. 32. Yep. She died at the comedian's age, not the rock star age.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right.
Rock star age is 22. Yeah.
And Keith Moon would later kick the bucket in the same apartment years later.
Really?
Yeah. So, I mean, if you want that place, you can probably get it at a discount.
Keith Moon said something that was so unintentionally mean, but so amazingly funny.
That sounds like Keith.
Helen Reddy did a presentation of a Grammy with Keith Moon. And they said to Keith Moon, just act like a human being. Just please. and he did.
Yeah.
He didn't go on stage and act like an ass.
Right.
And Helen Reddy treated him like dog shit.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she was like, "Oh, hello, Keith. I guess you're here with your snake," like that. And Keith Moon said to her, you secretly want me, and you want me badly. So drop the pretense, or I'll show you a rattler. And here's my other favorite about Helen Reddy. She was supposed to sing the song "I Am Woman"
Yeah.
at the National Organization for Women,
Yeah.
and her husband Jeff Wald wouldn't
Right.
let her, so she didn't sing "I Am Woman" at the National Organization for Women
Because her
No.
husband wouldn't let her. That's very funny.
because he
But
was
she-
too busy doing blow.
But she did book his final plane ride, so there was that.
Well,
You know,
same thing for Ricky Nelson.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, there's another one. It's like,
She
dude,
was-
put the crack pipe down, dude. It's not good up here. Oh man.
I smell something.
Yeah. When you're
Helen
booking
Reddy. Helen Reddy though was huge, like in 72, 73. She was
well, you know,
huge.
yeah, and by the way, that's another song that Jim Gordon plays drums on. The infamous Jim Gordon, one of my favorite drummers, and insane maniac who killed his own mom. You know, but sort of living proof why
Did he really?
Yeah, he stabbed his mother to death. He had paranoid schizophrenia accompanied with voices and visualizations, and no one could treat it. No one knew how to treat it. He had
Well-
checked himself in for it, but he eventually was told by his hallucinations to go kill mom. So he drove over to mom's house and knifed her to death, and then
Holy-
spent the rest of his life in a California prison. In fact, he spent more time in prison. He was the richest prisoner in California. And you know, because of his royalties. And when Eric Clapton won the cat or whatever, they gave him the Grammy for Layla, for the acoustic version of Layla.
Right.
It was
Right,
named
right.
the writers of the song were announced as Eric Clapton and Jim Gordon, because Jim Gordon he wrote the outro. He wrote the piano outro. And,
Oh,
Do you know the
plays-
great? Do you know the great story about the song? Oh, the hell! If I Can't Have You.
no.
Well, there was two songs that the guy who managed the Eagles, Irving Azoff, could choose from. One
Right.
is from a best-selling author, which starred an Academy Award winner, right? And the other was from a brand new movie with a TV star of little note.
Mm-hmm.
So Azoff went with the bestseller.
Right.
The bestseller was Looking for Mr. Goodbar with Diane Keaton. The other one was Saturday Night Fever.
Well,
And
kinda-
it sold 3 million copies,
yeah.
and the movie bombed, and the star was Travolta.
Yeah.
I never
Yeah.
knew he was bald.
Well, I don't know. I think Saturday Night Fever, though, nowadays would probably be more recognizable than Looking for Mr. Goodbar.
Oh, by far.
Obviously.
It was then.
There wasn't Looking for Mr. Goodbar Richard Gere's going back. This is
Yeah,
all
but
Richard
no, but
Gere night.
that movie was huge then.
Yeah.
You couldn't get in to see Saturday
Who was
Night
the female
Fever.
lead? Was that Diane Lane? No. it wasn't.
Donna
He-
Pesco.
The lead in Looking for Mr. Goodbar?
No, that was Diane
Richard
Keaton.
Gere.
Yeah, you're right.
Diane
Richard Gere and
Keaton.
Diane Keaton.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Diane
Yeah, Diane
Keaton, and the
yeah.
co-stars are Richard Kiley.
Yes. Yeah. And
Oh,
But-
and Tuesday Weld.
God, I miss Tuesday Weld. Her last role that I know of was in the Joel Schumacher film Falling Down, Kirk Douglas, where she played. She's only seen in the movie. They probably shot it all over the course of a day because it's just her talking on a phone, being nuts. She plays Robert Duvall's nuts wife.
I'll tell you this: it didn't take a lot of convincing to get Kirk Douglas to hit on a 19-year-old.
Well, yeah. You know.
My apologies for acting like a jerk earlier. I'm sorry.
Well, you're in a rough circumstance there. You're
Yeah, don't worry about it.
yeah. And
Yeah,
we're not gonna.
We're at the end of our hour anyway, so we can chat after we go off live here. But that's it for the hour that we share with the public. We now do our best stuff after we take off the.
Now we
The
talk
live
about
cast.
each other like dogs.
Okay.
Exactly.
Is this the part where I take off my shirt and get out the glycerin?
One can only hope.
Exactly. Now what we're going to do, but we do keep the cameras rolling so that we can sell that on our OnlyFans. So look at that coming up. Anyway, we'll see everybody next week, 8 o'clock, same time as always. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
All right.